Here is everything you've missed or forgot the first time you read A Court of Wings and Ruin. This video will have a massive amount of spoilers, so if you've not read this book, save this video for later and come back after you've finished. I'm going to try to do this all in one video, but there is a lot to go over. I do have my notepad here, so let's read through. I think this is also shaping up to be one of my favorite books that SJM has ever written. I am obsessed with this book. I am not the best at finding theories and doing all that, but I am a connector and I like connecting dots and finding things that I didn't realize or miss the first time around. So to start off, we're just going to run through this list in no particular order. It is not in chronological order to the book, just fun things that I have found. Lucien's last name is Vansera. I don't know if that's going to come into play at one point, but it might. We also get the Bryaxis introduction into this one in the beginning. I know there's some lore and some things coming there with this. Jasminda was Lucien's previous lover, the one that got killed. On page 418, we get a sense of how ruthless Tamlin can be. When you fuck her, have you ever noticed that little noise she makes right before she climaxes? On page 258, Sarah thinks that the Shadow Singer in the garden might just be what Elaine needs. ACOTAR 6. In this book, Feyre also comes into her powers, into herself, and I think just grows so freaking much. We know that Nesta made the cauldron give something back. We discover the Ouroboros mirror, and it's a window to the world, and the Carver wants it for payment to help fight in the war against Hybern. We have also learned so much information about these ancient beings. One is the Bone Carver, his twin sister Stygra, his twin sister who is the Weaver, and then they have another sibling, Koshi, who we don't learn too much about in this book, but that comes in Court of Silver Flames. They are twins, they are death gods, they are ancient, and were here before this land was ever even created. We do know that Koshi is bound to the lake, though. When the Bone Carver is in the prison describing to Feyre his siblings, he does draw 3 overlapping circles, and anytime Sarah does symbols, I always like to notate it because I feel like they come in play sometimes. Same things when she gives names. We do know along these same lines that there was a clever Fae warrior tricked the Weaver and bound her into that house in the woods, and that bloodline is long gone, but there might be a trace that still runs through the human line. I know there's lots of theories about that, how that may be connected to Feyre's ancient line, things like that. On page 284, we know that Armin made herself mortal to escape the prison, and her quote was, "Made herself mortal, immortal as you, but mortal to what she was before." She was a messenger in her last world and a soldier assassin. She does not remember her name. Another name for the Ouroboros is Mirror of Beginnings and Endings. Armin's eyes glow because of a containment spell that she couldn't quite get right. That's on page 178. Mirian had been made just as Feyre was made. Mor's gift is pure truth. The word otherworldly power was used several times in this book to describe Nesta's power. Otherworldly, I always like those words when she uses them because they're going to come back. Bone Carver reveals that he is appearing to Feyre as their son. Mor proclaims that she prefers females and she was in love with a human queen. Her name is right here. I don't know how to say that. Mor also touches and explains the difference between witch and fairies. I think that's going to come into play at some point. Cassian fights like Helios. He was the most ancient warrior god and the first of the Illyrians. Feyre shattered Ianthe's hands with that rock. That was a good scene. Good old Ianthe, speaking of her, she got killed by the Weaver. And Ianthe was the one that shot an arrow through the Suriel, which was heartbreaking. The Suriel cannot see the Carver because he is not of this world. The Suriel's last words are, "Leave this world a better place than you found it." The cauldron stole Elaine from the camp. We know that. Asriel lets Elaine take his sword, the Truth Teller, and he's never even let anybody touch the sword before. And it's the sword that she actually uses to stab Hybern at the end of the book. Hybern killed the Weaver in this one, and I felt like it was actually pretty anticlimactic. As Armin went into the cauldron, she was sacrificing her life basically. Then she came out and now she is just purely high fae. So all those powers that she had are now gone. We do get an introduction to the human queen Vanessa, the 6th human queen, who is the Firebird curse. That stuff happens. We don't get too much into that book, just a couple little hints here and there. Rhys dies and then comes back. Vasa says that the Archeron dad was a better dad than her own dad. And so I know there's something going on with that. And obviously their dad showed up, saved the day, named the fleet after his 3 daughters. A lot freaking happened in this book. And I'm sure I missed so many things. Let me know some of your favorite parts from this book or anything that I missed that you think will be a major player in the coming books.